Taurus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for October 17th to the 23rd of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the real constellations in the sky known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. All right, so Taurus, this week we have a few things going on, all of which are quite important. Essentially, we've got Mars going over Pluto, very important here, collectively speaking. We've got Mercury opposing up to Uranus, and we do have Venus, your ruler, transitioning into your 7th house of relationships. So let's go and look at this Mars conjoining up to Pluto, because this will be in orb the first half of the week, going exact on Wednesday. And so this is transformation and changes with yourself on a very deep level. I think over these past few weeks, if you've been feeling a bit more intent on getting down to the true brass tacks of life, the true meaning of life, connecting to life on that level. And for some of you, it might have to do with intimacy and openness in your relationships. Others might have more to do with your healing, right? Transformation, seeing where you have fears, seeing where you have traumas and anxieties and things that you can then free yourself up from by being aware of it, by bringing conscious light to that. And there's just all in all, I think, been a lot of intention on seeing the deep truth, maybe even conveying it, communicating it, or researching as well. So with this being said, this week can be very transformative with this, because Pluto has been, over the past many years, helping you strip away all of these attachments, all of these fears, all of these old patterns, basically, that do occur in our lives, that do run in our lives. And as you break these patterns, as you free yourself up here, in other words, as you are open to seeing things in a way that is in their true essence, right? Once you strip away all the fears, once you strip away all the attachments, then it can be it's a very powerful aspect. And I think it's very powerful anyways, and I think a lot of you will be transforming when it comes to, again, relinquishing these older patterns and accepting these deeper qualities of life. And this is, of course, deeper qualities within you, right? All aspects of self. And this is on the personal note, but this is also involving relationships, since Mars does rule your 7th house. And so I think there's big changes with relationships, on your perspective of relationships, in fact, this week, and especially with Venus going into your 7th house. Collectively, for all you Taurans, there's something definitely shifting when it comes to your one-to-one connections. So with that being said, Mars is our egos, it is our drives, and going over Pluto, it's stripping that away. So I think what this is on one level is about seeing where you might have had some old relationship patterns, which again come from old relationship attachments and fears, and letting that go, detaching, right? Allowing things to change and breaking those old patterns with that. And again, that can be very freeing. It can help you really connect on a deeper level. And it's, again, with yourself, it's with relationships, and it's with life, right? That intimacy, that openness, that rawness, which comes once we've faced our fears, we've accepted them, and we've done that inner healing. Okay, so that's the relationship side. The other side of this is a spiritual transformation. Mars rules your 12th house. And so this is beingness. This is, again, diving deep, but being with yourself, right? It's a great week to get some maybe alone time, meditative time, to be and to see what comes up. And as a result, I think there will be transformations with your peace, transformations with your acceptance of life, and willingness to essentially go with the flow and see where things take you. All right, so it's a great week for those things as well. Now let's talk about the other side to this, which is Venus, your ruler, going into the 7th, placing certainly an emphasis on one-to-one connections right now. Okay, so I think you can be enjoying them, in fact, with Venus, although this has been a quite serious area for you lately, or at least needing a bit of patience here. Okay, and this has been Saturn in your 7th house. But now Venus comes in here, so I think over these next few weeks, I think you can enjoy a bit of these interrelationships, these connections, see what you value there in that area, see how maybe things can be reworked, because Venus does rule your 6th house of your routine and of your self-improvement, so how you can improve yourself when it comes to relationships. Okay, but big emphasis there, and I think as Venus gets closer to that Saturn, it'll be emphasizing the fact that yes, there's a much larger picture involved with all of this. Right? Your relationships are being built right now long term, or at least can be, but it does take patience, does take persistence and a willingness to get results in this area. And I think it's an excellent week to be focused on that. Okay, whether it's new relationships, existing ones, or just all in all, your perspective of them. All right, so that's Venus going into the 7th, and then we do have Mercury opposing up to Uranus about the same time, around Thursday. And so this has been the strong emphasis on your self-expression right now, or at least there's a lot to learn, a lot of energy to be gained by you expressing yourself right now. Okay, you got the sun here. This is the location of the whole lunar cycle. You've got opportunities here to maybe cultivate some of that self-expression, whatever the medium might be. Might be artistic for some of you, might be verbal, might be written, might be through your work, it might be hobbies and interests. Tapping into that inner child, that playfulness, that creativity. And I think there's plenty of opportunity to do that. This week you might be feeling like breaking free, breaking through when it comes to that, because Uranus opposing Mercury could suggest that. Now, of course, it's an opposition, so we do want to stay balanced. If you are feeling a bit of that wanting to break free, it might have to do with your values, might have to do with the resources, might have to do with that self-expression. And there's something to listen to, but again, do watch the extremes. In other words, be aware of the fact that yes, there is this something needed here for you to have more liberation with your self-expression, have this liberation with your resources in life, your finances, your material life, but to take it nice and slow, to take it with balance, take it with a centered approach. Because the fact of the matter remains that Uranus has been helping you see these aspirations of your life for many years, past 7 or 8 years, helping you free yourself up here to pursue those aspirations, future things for both you and your community, in fact, okay, or however that's manifesting for you from time to time. So we do have to have aspirations. We do have to have future things going on in our life, but at the same time, we have to be enjoying what we're doing. And again, whatever the area might be, but just in general, we have to be expressing yourself. We have to be cultivating that inner spark. And likewise, in order for us to cultivate those aspirations, yes, we do need to be expressing ourselves. And in order for us to express ourselves, we do need to have this freedom of the future, freedom of aspiration, the freedom to cultivate what we want in life, right? What we aspire for, our hopes and wishes. But it's a balance of both, okay? And I think a balance too, again, when it comes to your resources, when it comes to your values and finances, staying centered with that, but listening to maybe where there can be some changes with that as well, so you can have more freedom. All right, so that's the week in a nutshell. The strongest for you, collectively for everyone, it's this Mars going over Pluto, this transformation and change, again, with you, with relationships, with your perspective on things, so you can get deeper in life. Open up, intimacy. It's not easy. There's fears, there's old patterns being broken this week for all of us, and for you, it definitely has to do with this transformation, your 8th house. But Venus going into your 7th around the same time, around Thursday onward, you'll certainly feel the shift, I think, where you can be enjoying a bit of the interrelationships, whether they're simply clients at work, maybe they're friends, maybe it's family relationships, maybe it's spouse, whatever it is, but just your interactions, I think, can have a dose of that willingness to connect. And I think that's going to play a big theme as Venus gets closer to Saturn, which is, again, emphasizing that this is the time period for you to do just that. All right, so Taurus, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.